Hi, everyone. I'm David Aldridge, and today I'm speaking with Grace, who's a student of mine. And Grace has agreed to come on a quick call with me and share her story about taking lessons with me and working together. So, hello, Grace.
Hello, I'm Grace, and I'm currently a student at a college, and I've been doing music with David since being year three, I think, and he's helped me through it all through GCSE, and we still get into the highest level I possibly can.
Brilliant. And Grace, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. Can you think back? I know we've known each other for a while now, and can you think back to the early days when you was a kid, you first got your guitar, and tell us a little bit about that. Like,
Well, I remember I first got into guitar from watching the Michael Jackson movie and seeing, that woman play guitar. And I started in like year one, and it was just, my mind was set. I want to do this, I want to play guitar. And when I met you in around about, I think I was in year three, it was kind of like you opened up my eyes to all this different genres of music. Because at the minute, I was just like, it was just pop, wasn't it? And then when I met you, it was like so many different varieties I could do, and it just expanded my love for music.
and so that sounds like it had a massive impact on your life. To
Huge.
huge impact. Yeah, and yeah, that's great. So as a kid, so year one, is that like six? Is it 7 years old? 8 years old?
I think
Something like
so.
that.
Yeah, I think it's around 6, 7, isn't it?
So what was it like for you then, Grace, as a kid? Getting your first guitar and learning your first song.
Oh, it was just ecstatic. Like, I remember having a pink guitar, and it was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me.
Brilliant. All right. Okay, Grace, we're just going to go to another question.
Okay.
So here we go. So, what advice would you give to, like, if you think back to your, your year one days, and the older you, what advice would you give to a kid who's starting out?
Perseverance, because you're not going to immediately pick up a guitar and be instantly amazing. Like, it's the amount of effort you put into it. And if you want to be good, you have to believe that you're going to be good, but by practicing.
So, would you say it's regular practice, self belief? I think came through
Yeah,
there having that self belief that you can do it. And do
it,
you think
it's
that's yeah? Go on, sorry, Grace.
it's the confidence that you need to have, and that belief that you are going to get to being, amazing.
Would you say like self belief and confidence has grown through taking lessons with me and learning to play the guitar over the
Oh yeah,
years we've known each other?
100%. I mean, when I was that age, I was terrified to go on a stage. And then being with you, you get all these like showcases going. And off stage, I've always been a bit low key and very awkward. However, when I get on stage, I just forget everything. And I'm just so focused on the guitar, and I feel the confidence come out.
Yeah, wonderful. That's absolutely amazing. So you step into that rock star role, eh?
I do. I do.
And so this self belief and confidence, how has that helped you in other areas of your life, Grace?
It just You feel more confident about yourself because you have this thing that you rely on so heavily, which is music. I express myself via music and the art. And so being able to express my feelings and emotions, that it kind of helps relieve your mind of everything else, and you can, it's everything just seems a lot clearer.
So you're creating it's created help create like a positive self image.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. and also I always find this with music as well. I absolutely love just being on my own, picking up my guitar, and it's kind of a form of like escapism. I don't know if that's the right word, but you go into your own little world,
Yeah,
and yeah, and I find that like really, really just magical, for well-being, um,
it
and
is.
yeah, it's great. We're on the same page there. That's amazing. Okay, Grace, let's jump to another question.
Yeah,
Da-da-dum. So we've talked about like what guitar has given you and the music that you love to play and things. So um, what would you think would have happened if you hadn't have decided to take guitar lessons with me? If you think to a world where you don't play guitar and you hadn't taken lessons, what would that look like?
yeah. I think that I wouldn't be who I am because I mean, at the minute, I'm looking at going into the arts. I think with music, it has helped me not understand, but it helps you actually think how important the arts are because it's always like, it's kind of like second class in schools. So actually having music as a priority kind of brings something out in I can't even think what I'd be like. I'd be a completely different person in a
Yeah,
bad way.
in a bad way.
Like, well, yeah, I think because music just brings out such a positive side of me and it brings out all this confidence and ability to communicate better with people.
Yeah,
Because the amount
yeah,
of people that I've made friends with music, being
yeah.
able to talk about music, it's genuinely couldn't think of a life where I didn't play, where I wouldn't play.
It's massive, isn't it? And
It's
there's a lot
it's
of
a part of me
yeah,
playing guitar.
and I see that, and that's and I feel so honored as to have been your teacher, and still I'm your teacher, and we're still
Yeah,
moving forward with a really high level of playing, and so that's massive, Grace. And there's a lot of kids out there who don't play music or might not listen to music, but they're just really stuck in that academic side of things, which
yeah,
I guess there's like nothing wrong with that, but from my perspective, they both work together, having the academic side and the art side. You know,
they do.
um, yeah. So it's massive. Cool. All right, Grace. Let's go to another question here. Um, so, what has been your favorite thing from taking like the work we've done together and you taking lessons?
The amount of songs we can learn, because there's if you always say to the minute you say, "Oh, I play guitar" to someone, it's like, "Oh, do you want to play me something?" And before you, I was like, "Oh, what do I play?" Like I didn't know songs. I knew like the basics of the basics. But now with you, I can play from Hey Joe to umpteen blues pieces. I can improvise and being able to constantly learn something new.
Fantastic. And Grace, one of my proudest moments for you was seeing you on the stage at the Lowry Theatre. So for people around the world who don't know where that is, that's in Manchester in England, and it's a massive venue, isn't it?
Yeah,
And you performed there
I did.
in front of around 600 people, live audience with a band. Do you want to share a bit of that experience, Grace?
It was nerve-wracking. I remember being backstage and there was a bunch of us in one of like the dressing rooms and everyone was so nervous, but it was such a positive kind of buzzing atmosphere and everyone helped each other out. Like there was no negative energy. Everyone was, constantly bringing people up, no bringing people down. And I think I will always remember the first walking onto that stage because although you can't see people because you're being blinded by the lights, you know they're all there and you know they're all watching you, and it's just kind of like, wow,
Yeah,
this is
it's
it.
massive. The power of music, eh?
Yeah,
That's great. And you know, when you did your performance, Grace,
Yeah.
how did that make you feel after, you know, once you've done, you know, an amazing performance and then you come off stage? How did you feel?
Just so accomplished. It's like when you go out onto the stage, it's like you take a deep breath. And then it's only when you finish you can finally breathe again. And it's that relief of like, wow, I did that.
These are like memories that, you know,
They'll last a
stick with us
lifetime.
for a lifetime, aren't they? You know, and it's that was massive.
100%.
Yeah, cool. Grace, next question. Here we go. So, so this is similar to the question that we've just asked, but we'll go with it anyway. If you could pick three things that stand out the most, um, what would that be? What would be the first one
With music,
with the lessons,
the lessons.
and what you've
Well,
got from the lessons as well?
well, thing is, I feel like because I've been with you for so long, I feel like I've made a friend.
Friendship,
First off, like I know, it's that bond, that musical bond. Um, and
artists.
then exactly, and my knowledge grows. I mean, you when you play music, you don't often think about how much theory goes into it. And so to have that theory knowledge continually expanding, it's you constantly feel like you're gaining something. There's nothing that you're not going to learn, but
Yeah.
you're constantly learning. And personally, I love doing scales. I think they're my favorite thing to do. I love
Can
them.
you share that with the world? Because there's people who absolutely hate scales. So I love the fact that you love scales because I'm on the same
I,
page with you there as well,
I don't
Grace.
understand people who don't. They make you look cool when you can play them really fast.
Improvisation.
I love improvising, and I don't see why people don't like it.
It can be a scary thing at first, but
Oh yeah,
once you practice it more, it
it's
gets
getting
easier.
in the swing of it.
Yeah, definitely. Grace, so one is friendship,
Yeah.
and I know we've made you know, a really good friendship together. But what I've seen, you've also made friendships with other students at the school,
Yes.
like Kyle
Kyle.
and yeah, my brother John.
Yeah.
So some of my family as well, and there's others. So yeah, that's cool. So the
It's like
second, yeah, go on. Sorry.
sorry, you just create a whole family atmosphere within the company. It's everything is so tied together, and everyone's so friendly, and you feel like a big family.
It's family and
Yeah.
supporting network, isn't it? You know, which is cool. Brilliant. So Grace, we've got friendship. We've got the second one
Constant
was
knowledge.
constant knowledge, first for knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, and the other one was it
Nails.
scales, playing
Yeah.
scales. I love that. Can never
it's a huge
play.
it's the hugest love I have. I love them.
Brilliant. I know for your grade six, we're doing quite a lot of scales, aren't we?
Oh yes. Good that I
All
love
right.
them.
Let's go to another question here,
Mhm.
Grace. All right, so I'm just going through my list here. Um, so this is like another similar question, but what potential has music added to your life? Moving, I know you know, you're about to go to university soon. So what potential from, you know, year one to leaving college is that added to your life moving into the future, into, you know, potentially going into a career and things? So,
Well, I've managed to actually incorporate a lot of my art, my music into art and like other subjects such as my English, because I don't think people from a non-musical background realize how much actually goes into non-musical subjects that link to music, because in English literature, the people who know it, they know that we study poems. And in my latest mock, there was one where it's solely based on music. And when we studied it in the class, people didn't have a clue what these like musical terms were, but I did. And so obviously I did well on that. And then in my art, which I'm further gonna go on to study at university, I've been able to incorporate it. I've been able to do like abstract pieces based off listening to certain musics, and whether it's a major or a minor, figuring out what colours work. And I think it's you can incorporate with so many different things in your life. And for me, it is my academic subjects, but also my art subjects.
Sounds it's like boosted your imagination or
Yeah,
opened up more of your imagination to look at the world in a different
it
way.
does. It opens up so many doors.
Brilliant. Wow, that's massive. I feel like, wow, yeah, that's that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Grace.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So last question, Grace.
Okay.
Who would you recommend me to for lessons and why?
Quite literally everyone. Like, even if you've not got a musical bone in your body, you will be able to bring something out in them because, I mean, everyone has the ability to learn if they put in the work, and you encourage people to put in the work. You make people feel like they can do it, and if they, put in the time and the effort, they will do it. And I think, you know, I would happily tell everyone to just go to you, because you create that safe space. So it's like it's okay to like mess up, it's okay to fail, because that's how you learn.
Yeah. So it's a non-judgmental environment
Yeah,
where everyone feels at home, like a family, and it's a safe place for kids to just come and be really creative
yeah.
and be
Kids, even
motivated.
adults, even like people later on in life who want like a purpose, you know, anyone, anyone and everyone.
Thank you very much, Grace.
Okay.
That's been great for sharing just your insights, of these years and what you've got most from learning to play guitar and how you're going to carry that, into future life. And that's amazing. Having music in your life is for me is one of the most rewarding and beautiful things we can have on planet Earth. It's
I
just super
agree.
amazing.
Well, thank you for teaching me this last decade.
You're more than welcome, Grace.
Not to make
It's
you
been a
feel
pleasure.
old.
I'm getting there. For anyone curious about me and the work that I do, then please visit davidguitarcoach.co.uk, where you can learn a little bit more about my story and what I teach. And I also have a free book called Funtime Guitar you can also download. All right, Grace, it's been a pleasure.